because this person in a way changed my life. I became more confident because of Maria Pearson, who is the founder of Grow Me, and she's the co-founder of Women Able. Women Able, that sounds very powerful. She helps women in the Middle East, in different countries, to be stronger, to be confident, to know some financial fundamentals, and to know what you want. Dear Maria, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It depends from where you are watching us. I'm happy to see you. And my first question to you is, the role of women in pandemic is definitely changing. Maybe not changing. Maybe the role of women was like that and now it's like this. Maybe the role of woman is to sit in the house and to cook. Maybe the role of the woman to fly to the space. What is, in your opinion, as a person who is supporting women and making them stronger, what is the role of women in pandemic times?
Olga, hi. Thank you so much for inviting me onto your program. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. And just before I get started on the pandemic question, congratulations on your documentary and film. You know, it's wonderful to have those sorts of messages in a pandemic time where people feel isolated and lonely, and to see two people that have gone through a journey and been to find happiness. It's a story that all of us need to see in these times. I think
so
the pandemic itself has been an enabler for many, and it has definitely pushed things that were happening both in the economy, in the ecology, and the sustainability space. It's actually helped accelerate things forward. For example, working from home, remote working, how this has impacted on women. On the downside, a lot of women were made redundant when companies downsized. Typically, the first people that were let go were women. And unfortunately, the decision-making process in some corporates, and particularly Western corporates, was, oh, well, he's the one that is the breadwinner, so he keeps the job, and the woman she'll have a husband, and she should be at home looking after the family anyway. What the pandemic, and specifically that when we were locked in our homes, is that I think there became much more awareness of the multiple hats that women always wear. And particularly when they're working, and then they're the mother, and then they're the wife, and then they're the caregiver for the extended family, for the mother-in-law and their family. And it became much more visible how much work, unpaid labour, that women actually contribute to the economy. Having the husband at home, working from home, and the children at home doing schooling, I hope that it encouraged more men, more husbands, to be actively involved in the schooling of children and the tasks that need to be done to run a household, because there was no, oh, I've got to go to work now. So I think it's created visibility. It's created an awareness of the importance of people and people being together. So the pandemic is in some ways, it's changed our views about what is actually important. That the consumerism mindset that we had, oh, we've got to buy this, we've got to buy that. A lot of people actually realized in the pandemic, a lot of the stuff that we buy, and we work hard to make money to buy stuff, that really do we need. That has an impact on the planet. You know, and this is one of the other impacts of the pandemic, is the pandemic. You know, I had an interesting conversation today with a scientist, and around the view that, you know, was the pandemic the planet's way of nudging us as human beings that we need to stop taking? We have to stop
Start
taking
giving, we
and
should start
assuming.
giving, definitely. Maria, I know that you are very keen on the topic of financial independence of women. That woman, even the program is called Women Able. That means that the woman can do, she can decide, not that she will ask the permission, can I take that? Can I go for a walk? Can I start earning money? You always emphasized in your programs that this is your right to earn. This is your right to be paid for your work. What do you think? What is the relationship between women and money? Why it's women are so shy to say this is my service and it costs so and so much? What is the relationship between women and money?
It's an interesting thing. I mean, even I have trouble putting a number on a contract, because I always second guess myself. Oh, really? Am I really worth that much? I mean, I've worked with some of the biggest companies in the world and I advise on how to do this stuff. But when it actually comes to yourself, there's this little voice inside of you that says, really? Am I worth that much money? Women Able, the whole concept around Women Able is about skilling women to recognize their value. And whether it's in business, whether it's in the corporate world, but understanding that the time and the investment that we've made in our education and building our skills and capability, not just in the workplace, but in life, that when we put that on the table, it has immense value. And the global financial crisis in 2008, 2009 actually gave us some really interesting data around the different ways that women look at work, risk, and the relationship to that is that women were actually, from a corporate perspective, they made more money for companies. And this is because they are more considered about where do I spend the resources that I have? And that comes back to, show me any woman that runs a household on a budget that's given to them by a man. They make sure that there's food on the table, the kids get an education, the kids can go to the doctor, the kids have got shoes on their feet. And
so
that is
that women can run the economy, can run the company, and can run the household even sometimes better than men, because they are very precise on the budget that they have, and they will take into consideration some facts that maybe men even will not take in.
they know how to manage resources, that they are able to do more with less. And we see this in startups. I mean, female-owned startups, they get 1/8 of the money that men get. So if it was $100, a woman would get $8, and they would typically do more with that $8 than a man would with $100.
But what
So
is
if
the
you
reason? What is the reason that they give 1/8? It's actually it's a shocking number. One of
yeah,
eight is given to women only. They think that women, they will get married, or they will be pregnant, or they will fall in love. What are the reasons, you think?
a lot of times it's how a woman projects herself, and women are typically quite cautious. If we step forward too far, there's criticism all the way around us. And typically, the worst criticism comes from other women, whether it be our mother-in-law, whether it'll be our peers. And so we're typically cautious of going forward. So the language that we use to describe ourselves, to describe our success, is quite limited or muted. We don't show off. I mean, if I was to sort of stand up and say, oh, I've done this and I've worked with these people and worked with these people, I typically don't do that unless I absolutely have to, because I would prefer that my actions speak for myself rather than having to use names of other people, because it's my actions. But to be successful in the business world, you have to show off, and it feels really uncomfortable. So, that we don't step forward as much or as far as our male colleagues. And then the words that we use to describe ourselves, if we're too far out there, we would get labelled as bossy, we get labelled as a bitch, as we get labelled by people, and those labels stick. I mean, I was in a meeting today with a whole pile of other women, and I didn't agree with what they were doing. And so I put my view forward, and then we talked about it, and then I gave it from a different decision. And I was really pushing because I felt quite strongly that we should do things in a certain way. And the woman that was in charge turned around and called me bossy. I wasn't being bossy. I was being assertive, and I was being decisive, and I was offering thought leadership on an area of my expertise. So, the labels stick.
Yes, the label's there because if you will have a lot of money, they will say you are bossy, or maybe your lover gave you that money, or maybe the father left that money, or somebody helping you, or if not helping you, then you are too decisive, too bossy, or you are man in the women's body, or there will be definitely some, because for men to be decisive, to be strong, to earn money, that is his job. To be
That's leadership.
It's leadership. It's not between men and women. What do you
And
yes.
I'll go, if I can just add one more thing. This is one of the things that the pandemic has shown us. The countries with the best response to COVID have all been led by women. If you look at Finland, if you look at Germany, if you look at Taiwan, you look at Singapore, you look at New Zealand, these have all got women leaders who managed resources, that took an empathetic approach, and it was about the people and making sure that people feel safe and getting people all to move in one direction. And the results, they had less deaths. They had less instances of COVID. Yet if we compare that to the male stereotype of strong and I know what to do, they didn't have Brazil, for example, or the US. So, the pandemic has actually given us some quite good examples of what feminine leadership can look like, and the impact and results of what feminine leadership can achieve.
That is great. That is great to know. And I agree with you that I think in the new era, there should be combined the leadership of men and women. It cannot go like before. Everything is changing so quickly, to that extent that we should adapt also quickly. We cannot be like a turtles who are covered with all from both sides and to move. Yes, but sometimes you should be like a dolphin, like a shark, like a tiger, because the planet is changing and they want us to be together with men. And women, of course, should support women, because how come? Now, even that's why Hidden Hero was made. Before we were Hidden Beauty, only for women. But I think that nowadays a lot of men, they need inspiration, they need support, they need help. We cannot segregate ourselves, men, women, kids, adults, young kids, old people, because the power is when we are together, when we are not separated by the groups. It's not that the groups should judge the groups. My next question to you is about people from this region. You spent in Dubai, in the Middle East, many, many years. And people in the world often think that the women here, they are always behind the men. But what I noticed, some of my Emirati friends, they are very financially educated. They have their own accounts. They are running their businesses. They know, because, in Russia, very often woman is behind the man, and they even say, we don't know how much money we spend. We have, money is not for us. While in Middle East, a lot of women are financially educated. Are you agree with that or not?
Absolutely. Being financially independent gives you choices, and it means that you can have an opinion, you can have a voice, and you can choose what it is that you want to do. And in no way, shape, or form am I saying that you shouldn't. You should be in partnership with your husband, but expect your husband to provide for you and that you have no visibility on any of the financial matters is actually quite dangerous because there's no security for you. And again, that was one of the things with Women Able. It was about educating women to be financially independent, to know how to read a bank statement, how to read a profit and loss statement, and how to read a balance sheet so that you can see how much money you actually have and how you can make that money grow. I mean, Women Able was primarily focused on helping women have the business or commercial literacy so that they could grow their own business and make informed choices. I mean, of course, you need to talk to all sorts of people, your husband, your father, whatever, but at the same time, if it's your business, if it's your life, then it's your choice. In different countries, it means different things. Particularly in the UAE or in the GCC region, we started working with the Dubai Business Women's Council back in 2012, it was. And the whole I worked as a strategic partner to help them think about how did we get more women into the economy. So whether it was women with jobs in leadership, women on boards, or having women who actually owned their own businesses, and how could we have more women owning their own businesses? Because the more people you have actively participating in the economy, the stronger the economy is. The faster the money goes round, and then if the money gets used more, there's more jobs for people and there's more opportunities.
Definitely.
So
the kids will be more happy when their mother is more sure of herself, and the relationship will be better. So it's like brick after brick. It all only leads to something good, not to something bad. Maria, what do you think is your biggest achievement in life?
I am very, very proud of the economic development work that I've done in the Middle East region. I have worked on numerous projects to see the numbers go up. It's, people think about the GCC in the Middle East that the women are they're not empowered, and actually they are. The number of women on boards, the number of women in leadership in Kuwait and the UAE is actually far better than it is in the UK or the US. Yeah, and that's actually come from work that I've been part of. So it's, I'm really, really proud of that. It might not be my country, but I have had an impact in influencing and supporting other women to go forward and seeing the things that they've gone on and done. I mean, some of the people from the Women Able that you attended, Olga, their businesses didn't work, but where they've been able to go forward to, one of them's ended up as the head of the UNDP for Sudan. That the skills that they acquired and the relationships that they acquired actually helped them propel themselves forward with an understanding of I am capable. I am, it's a quiet confidence. It's not a show-off confidence. It's just this, that you're a person of value. That you have things to contribute to this world that only you can contribute, and that it's valuable for you to do so. You're a person of value. And
so when you think that this knowledge for women, it's danger for men, that the strong woman in the house, the strong wife, it's a danger for the family, it's a danger for the husband, for brother, for the husband, because the woman is too knowledgeable and she has money. From your point of view, it's not a danger for the family.
I don't believe so. And the reason that I don't believe so is that if something feels like a danger, if it feels like a threat, it's typically about control. And it is about power and one being over the other. And if people are eye to eye, there's more energy to move the brothers, the sisters, the children forward. But if one is above the other, it's actually squashing, and then that energy doesn't move people forward, it actually moves them down. So absolutely, the more knowledge that you have, as long as it's used constructively. Yep. And when that's when it becomes an energy for your family, it becomes an energy for your community, and that's how people go forward. That's what brings peace.
That's perfect. And that's my last question to you. What is your biggest dream? What are you dreaming of?
I'm going home to my own country, which is New Zealand, and we have a lot of work to do in New Zealand with the Indigenous people to actually create parity, and that whole what I've just mentioned about power. It's about creating an equal environment for everybody in the country, not just some people and not others. And I'm really looking forward to being part of that, because I think the skills and the experiences that I've gained in this part of the world will actually help me do those things. But I would still, my biggest dream is that I'm still going to be able to contribute and support more women on the types of programs that we run with Women Able. One of the features of those is that they're always funded, so that, even though we're in times of pandemic, rebuilding communities and creating jobs and opportunities, this is the sort of thing that our programs focus on. So I hope, my wish is that we find some funding partners that we can work over the long term with, and we do these programs all over the world, but that we can be part of supporting economies recover from the things that we've seen happen because of the pandemic, the economic devastation.
Maria, what I can say that you helped a lot of people already, and I know that the group where I studied, we are all stick together, and you give us a lot of inspiration, a lot of good mood, a lot of things to put our wings and to fly. And that is amazing to do so, to be able to do so, to make us able. And the program, which is called Women Able, is a great thing. And I wish you health, wealth, and be in that great mood to be strong and to be happy in New Zealand and in Middle East, in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, in this part of the world where there are a lot of girls and now young ladies and women whom you helped and who you supported, because I know that you were with women starting from 16, 17 till 71. And for me, it was such a big range of ages from 16 to 71. It's not very usual. By the way, one of our students who was the oldest, she had a birthday a few days ago.
Yes, was it yesterday?
I also wrote her a message. But it's amazing to be able to change your life at the age of 70, to start doing something new. It's really very, very inspiring. Thank you so much for being with us. I received a big pleasure, as always, and we will be in touch. Thank you so much.